Good morning, y'all. This is Mary Ann Pack, your spiritual guide. And I want to welcome you to Coffee and Convo Live. Just a minute, had to close off Facebook. It's going to interfere. So we're live in Facebook and YouTube today. That's a first for me. So let's hope that it all goes well. And I want to introduce you to my dear friend, Robin Finney of wanderingant.com. So welcome, Robin.
Thank you. Good morning.
I'm so excited you're here. This is such a good time for this conversation about being seen, heard, and validated. So first of all, I want to let you know that if you make comments, I think that you have to give StreamYard your permission to identify who it is that's talking. Otherwise, you'll be anonymous. You're still welcome to post, comments or questions. It's just we may not know who you are. So that's just one little item. And this morning, I really want to start with setting our intention, because our intention is so powerful. This is the energy we are projecting forward into this space that we are creating. And I know Robin and I both want this to be a safe space.
Yeah.
It is a sacred time. This is an important conversation, as all should be. But I want us to set our intention for peace, peaceable lives. I just want to read you. I have a biblical studies degree, so I was raised very Christian oriented. So scriptures tend to run through my head still. And the one that has popped in my head the most during listening to these conversations is one from Romans 12. And let me see. I thought I printed it. Oh, yes, I did. It says, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, to live peaceably with all men. Another version says, if possible, so far as it depends on you, be at peace with all men. And it is possible to live at peace. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. We have to keep our side of the street clean. And it's possible because we are source in the flesh. We are living this life. And when we tune in, tap in, and turn on, when we are aligned with who we really are, with our inner beings, we are peace.
Yeah.
We're not just, that's a nice attribute to attain. It's who we are. So let's lean into that intention that today is a day of peace. Today we set our standard that we will live in peace with all men, all people. So let's just take a deep breath and breathe in peace and breathe out any resistance. Inhale peace. Breathe out any resistance. I know this is a timely discussion, and I am so glad to have Robin here. She has been a good proponent for listening and learning from others and feeling and understanding and learning to validate. And she will teach us some of those things that she has learned so that we could all become that person. So again, I want to welcome you, Robin. I'm so glad you're here because this is going to be fun.
Yes,
The whole point of these Coffee and Combo Lives is to have fun. We're to bring joy and light to the world and love and clarity and knowledge and all those beautiful things that we are on the inside, and let those shine. So I wanted to let you know, I met Robin. We were in a coaching program together, and it was a year-long program, and with Darla Ledoux from Sourced Experience. So plug in for Darla. And we have seen each other at our worst and our best. We have cried tears of sorrow and joy. We've stomped our feet in releasing resistance and danced in breakthroughs. So we know each other very well. And that's why I chose her to be here, because I just knew in my heart she would be a good guide for us, because she is pure love. So that's how I met Robin. And let me grab it. Sorry, guys, I gotta go and clean it. Oh, no, I almost fell out of my chair. This is live. There's no cutting and pasting this video.
No. I already warned Marianne at the beginning that there might be children in the background. So I'm like, it's quiet right now, which is a good thing. But it could change at any moment.
Yeah, Robin is a world traveler, but she has been grounded for a little while during COVID, and she is with her sister, I believe, and her nieces and nephews, I guess, are in the background.
Yes.
Very good. I do want to read Robin's bio because I don't want to miss anything. Robin is an intuitive and authenticity guide, and we're going to find out what that is, what all that means. She's a retreat leader, writer, international model, and speaker. Ooh, we got to find out about that too. She travels the world and is the founder of wanderingant.com. She supports others in allowing their authentic self to be seen through intuitive clarity sessions, solo travel retreats, and photo shoot experiences. I'm really interested in that. I think I love your website because it's just full of your photo shoots that you have around the world. If you haven't looked at her website, wanderingant.com, go there. You're going to enjoy it. She believes that at the core of being human, we all have a desire to be seen and heard. How true is that? Robin uses her work as an intuitive guide to create safe spaces for this core desire to be present. Boy, don't we need more of that, those safe, sacred spaces to open up to each other, to open up to source and to our inner beings, and know and hear and see ourselves for who we really are. So this is a good time to get started. So I know we talked about the story of Wandering Ant. So give us the lowdown on where Wandering Ant came from.
Yeah, I started a blog. I think it's going on 3 years now. And 3 or 4, I don't remember. But I kept thinking, I was like, oh, I want a name that kind of describes who I am. And I always say, like, one of my titles is I'm an aunt extraordinaire. And I have 4 nieces and 1 nephew, and they are my world. I love them so much. I love them as if they were my own. And I've just always taken on that role of being an aunt. And then I also am a world traveler, and I love exploring and wandering when I go new places and kind of getting lost. And so I thought, why not combine the best of both worlds and be Wandering Ant? And it's interesting, when I started my blog, I was like, oh, this is fun. And I'm going to kind of see where it goes and write about my nieces and nephews. And then, as most things do, it's like you start with one idea and then it kind of takes off into another. But it's still, Wandering Ant still remained very close to my heart. And I want to always be an inspiration to my nieces and nephew and show them that there's not one way to live life. Mm-hmm. And so I like to carry them with me wherever I go. And that creates, people are always like, oh, Wandering Ant, what is that? That's cute. And so it allows me to be able to share about them in that way too.
Absolutely. It's definitely an intriguing name. So, to have a young woman calling herself the wandering ant, I wanted people to know your story
Oh,
and that you are ant extraordinaire.
yes.
I actually had a question that came in. Let's just jump right in because I want to know about your intuitive guidance and your authenticity guide. So we had a question that came in is when did you know you were intuitive? How did that come about? I think they're asking.
Yeah. So I think it's something it's been within me my whole life. And now that I've discovered it, it's like I can look back and see evidence in times in my life where I was intuitive and I didn't know anything about that. And it really wasn't until I started meditating. I went on a meditation retreat 3 years ago, and I kind of received like information on my first retreat and around my life and playing it safe. And it was just so clear, like the message was just spot on and right there. And then a year later, I was on another retreat, and the retreat leader gifted us all oracle cards. And I didn't really know much about them. I kind of thought, I was like, oh, tarot cards. Like I kind of thought they were something in that realm. And I really had no relationship to them. And then I also had always been taught, like you, I grew up with a religious background, and so things like that kind of were portrayed as dark, and you don't mess with that. And so I kind of was like, oh, I don't know, kind of at the beginning, like, I'm not sure about this. And so I took some time and was on my own spiritual journey of exploration and just really unlearning in some ways, so that I could really discover for myself who I am and what I believe. And it was in that process of discovery that I just began to see, it's like I opened my ears and was beginning to see signs and hear messages. And then it was really like even signing on with Darla to work with her last year. The whole reason that started, it's like I was in one program with her, and then she had pitched her year-long program. And I remember going through this whole like battle of, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough to invest in myself in that way. And who am I to do that? Just typical limiting beliefs that we have. And we were doing a releasing ceremony on the beach, and I noticed it was so interesting. We had each selected a rock, and we were walking down to the beach, and we were in a group, and I just couldn't I was so indecisive, and I was really wrestling with making a decision. And I noticed as we were walking down the beach, I was a block behind everybody. And I just remember like noticing that. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. The group's up there and I'm by myself. And so I'm walking down the street and I'm holding my rock. And I said, okay, God, give me a sign if I'm meant to do this program. And it's so interesting because looking back in my life, it's like I would ask for things, but I never believed. Mm-hmm. And so the signs were probably always there, but I just I just didn't believe that I could ever ask and actually receive. And so we walked down to the beach, and when it was my turn to release my rock, all of a sudden I threw my rock, and I was just like, I'm worth it. I yelled, I'm worth it. And I was wearing, I always wear these bracelets, and I was wearing my 3 bracelets that were really special to me. And I took my rock back and I threw it, and in the ocean with my rock went my bracelets. And I stood there stunned. And I was just like speechless, and everybody else ran towards the ocean, and they're like rolling up their pants, like, we'll go in and get them. And I was like, no, they were meant to go. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because each bracelet symbolized a very important moment in my life, in my past, like completing yoga teacher training, going on my first meditation retreat. And it was kind of that moment where it was like, oh, you've stepped into a new chapter of your life. And that was kind of the first time that I was really like, oh, there's something there. And then actually when we got into the program and she pulled her human design report and everything, I realized I have a lot of open channels. And I'm an empath, so like highly sensitive. And so I've learned now that when I am making decisions, I have to separate myself from people. And so otherwise it clouds my ability to make a decision. It's like I really have to tune out. And so it's just been in all of those that I've learned more and more about my intuition, and just really asking and trusting and knowing that like, oh, an answer is going to come if I ask.
That is so true. It's like we have to ask and then be quiet.
Yes. And that's the hard part.
For me, after meditation, I sit and I listen, and I have tons of these little inexpensive little journals.
Yeah.
And so what I've been doing is at the top, I just write what my spirit guides say. And then I either pose a question or I just sit and listen.
Yeah.
What do I need to know today? What do I need to know about this situation? And you get answers if you'll just be quiet long enough.
Yeah.
And tune in. So that intuition is something we all have. We all have access to our inner infinite intelligence. So it's just a matter of, like she said, be quiet long enough to hear the messages, to see the signs. Yeah. You've asked, now receive. Now it's time to be quiet and receive.
Yeah. And I love that you say that, because I think so often especially in our society, we're such a go, go, go. Absolutely. And COVID's caused us to slow down a little bit. And at the same time, it's still like inherent within us to want things now and not want to wait. And so a lot of times we can say that something is our intuition, and it's like, oh, I was supposed to do that. And some people get a quick yes and they know right away. But other people, they may need to take time and wait for an answer. And I think sometimes that can cloud it to where it really numbs our ability to tap into that part of ourselves, because we feel pressure to make a decision or make a choice in the moment, rather than giving us the space that we need. And it's different for each individual. But I feel like that's really what causes the struggle and the doubt, because then it's like you jump on something by impulse, and maybe it wasn't your intuition telling you, because you didn't wait for that answer. And then you start doubting that you have those abilities.
Absolutely. Yeah. So many times, I'll catch myself hearing my intuition and then overthinking it. Yeah. How many times do we do that?
Oh,
we start letting our mind get in there and just chatter, because we're looking at outside influences instead of being influenced by source, being influenced by our inner being. So I definitely identify with that.
Yeah.
So I know you've been really focusing on the importance of people being seen and heard and validated. So I really want us to start, let's give you time to do that, because there's, so much we can discuss about that. And so I just invite you with what you're learning, what you're hearing, and the message you would like us to hear about learning how to be seen and heard and validated.
Yeah. I've noticed that just in my own work, in my own journey, what a big part of what has been holding me back is I was afraid to see me. And see myself as others have seen me. And really, it's like even with my intuitive abilities, I'll get these big, bold visions. And then I allow my, like I said, limiting beliefs, which are those notions, messages, comments you make about yourself. So it's like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Who am I to do this? It's like you just really, you start doubting yourself and talking yourself out of it. And so it's been a journey for me to really step into that. And notice is the more that I show up and just allow me, my authentic self, who I know myself to be, owning it completely, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, like all of it, the quirky, the like, just every part of it, and just show up in that light. And that is what I've noticed has been really huge for me, and what's been missing in my life when I look back at like wanting certain things and not going after them. And because I was hiding and I was really afraid to see myself in that light. And I think that's a big part of it is we hide. We judge ourselves. We're afraid of others judging us. We let others' opinions of us take over our own opinions of ourselves, and then it clouds our thinking, and then we start taking it on and thinking that it's real. And so it's really like, it's this game. It's kind of like, I like to think of it as like I don't know, it's kind of like the groundhog in a way. It's like he peeks his little head out and it's like, oh, maybe I'll come out this time.
Check
and then check to make sure it's safe. And then, okay, it's good. And then it's like, oh no, there's somebody and I gotta go, and like retreats back. And then it's like come out again and then go away. And that was a dance I had for, I mean, probably my whole life pretty much. And it's still something I have to really be intentional about, and continuing to be visible. I think about like, you know, all of the just people who you look up to and you admire. It's like looking at them and say, okay, what is it about them that I really admire and look at? And a lot of times we see qualities in other people that we want in ourselves or we have, and we just haven't tapped into. And so I feel like when we all allow ourselves to be authentic, we like really tune into who we are and allow that person to be seen, it's refreshing. Like you can really notice the difference when you're meeting someone and you're having a conversation with them, and there's like a surface level conversation where it's just like, what do you do for a living? Where do you live? What do you like? What do you drive? Where do you shop? And it's just very like, okay, great. I'm just getting information.
Right.
And then there's something different when you meet someone and you ask them a question and then you wait. It's kind of like that. It's like you ask a question and then you wait for them to respond. And it's like, well, what is it? Maybe it's not even the job. It's like, what is it about your job that lights you up?
Yes.
And even asking that question allows them to kind of get into a different space. And it's so much of being seen and heard is really the same of like asking and then being quiet and listening. And I was watching a video yesterday. This man who he posted a video about some of his tips in improv that he's learned and how we could all adapt to that today. Mm-hmm. And his first one was listen to understand. And he was saying that we so often listen to respond. And it's like when we're doing that, we're not actually listening. We're not really hearing the person. We're thinking in our head the whole time, like, okay, what am I going to say next? And then you've completely missed what the person said.
Yeah.
And so when we listen, like really listen intentionally, then we're allowing that person to be seen and be heard in a different way.
Absolutely. I don't know, a few years ago, I actually did a video. It's on YouTube, and it's about that listening with the intent to understand,
Yeah.
not to respond, because you miss the message, you missed what they're saying. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And we can even tune in, for people who are watching. Like I do, one of my offerings and gifts that I offer to people is I do these intuitive clarity sessions. And we really dive in and we'll look at kind of uncovering what it is that's hiding, that you're not seeing. And oftentimes it's like, it's there. It's like right there. It's like there, but we can't see it. Other people can see it, but we can't see it. Call it a blind spot or whatever you want to call it. And so I do these deep clarity sessions that allow people to tune in and kind of let go of the noise and just allow yourself to receive message. And that's where I use my oracle cards to come in and support. And what I love about these sessions is it really does. It creates a safe space for people to show up as they are. And it's so interesting because when I say show up as you are, I notice the more conversations I have, the more retreats I've been on, when people cry, they apologize immediately. Yeah. It's like our society has ingrained it within us that tears are weak or not to be seen by other people. And so I noticed that. And it's like, we just immediately want to like jump in and comfort the person and take care of them. And what's beautiful about these sessions is it's like, you can just be yourself. And if emotions arise, just let it be. And I'm just a space holder. I'm there, sitting there and just taking it in for the person. And so it's just really they're allowing themselves space. And the beauty that comes from that is I've had so many people tell me like, oh, wow, I don't allow people to see this side of me. Mm-hmm. And it's I don't know, it's magical in a way, because it's like just being able to provide space for people in that way, and then also allow them to inquire about, okay, why is it that I'm hiding this and not allowing others to see this about myself? Absolutely. And sitting with that. So
yeah, absolutely. We definitely just, again, it's just applying that principle of living at peace and allowing peacefulness allows for that space.
Yeah.
For people to be seen and heard, and just be. And if it's expressed in laughing or joking or tears of joy or tears of sorrow or whatever the emotional release is, that's healing.
Yeah.
It is so healing for us. So I definitely agree.
Yeah.
What else would you like to tell us about being seen, heard, and validated?
Yeah, so being seen really starts from within. And at the same time, it's interesting because so in my journey, I started 2 years ago doing international photo shoots. And I had my very first photo shoot I wouldn't say very first, I did one in high school, but as an adult, my very first photo shoot was in 2015. And it was life-changing for me because I realized I've always been so critical of myself and the way that I look, and just always I would always make myself like look presentable and make sure my clothes, I couldn't allow people to see me dressed down or no makeup or my hair not fixed or any of that. And I just wasn't like, even in college, it was just silly. It's like I would wear heels to class and walk all the way across campus. What was I thinking? Like, stupid. It's just dumb. And it's fine. Like, if you want to wear that, own it. And I do love dressing up, but I just noticed I was doing it as a way I thought I had to do it to put myself out there. I thought that I had to look a certain way for people to like me, and for friends to want to be friends with me, and guys to want to like me, and all of that. And so in 2015, I was at the end of, I had gone through like a long depression phase, probably 6 or 8 months. And I started going to therapy, and I say that's kind of the start of my transformative journey. Was just, I really hit rock bottom. And I met a woman. My sister had connected me with a woman, Ashley Woods, and she's a photographer and also a retreat leader. And so I did a photo shoot with her. And what was different was, it wasn't just a photo shoot. It was, she had me select 3 words to define how I wanted to be. And so I remember I selected, I think it was beauty, adventure, and I don't remember the third one, but maybe, I'm not sure, and fun, maybe. And so we went and did a photo shoot. I'd always had a vision of like being in an abandoned warehouse. And so we found this abandoned warehouse in downtown Dallas, and took photos. And the whole experience was raw for me, because it's very vulnerable to be in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. And even you can get that even being on lives. And I really felt like for the first time that somebody was seeing me. And when I got the photos back, I was just blown away. And I was like, is that really me? I was like, wow, she's actually really pretty. And like, and then it was more like, it wasn't even like the exterior, but it was more like the interior, like internal feeling. And that really started like boosting confidence for me. And so fast forward 3 years later, in my travels, I started doing photo shoots, and it started out just for fun. And then right away, it turned into a mission to support local designers and artisans. But it's really been, it's the same thing. It's like, I've noticed through photo shoots that I've been able to show up, and I'd set an intention with every shoot, and it really speaks to where I am in my life. So it's like, if you go on my website and you click on the different photos, you can see, there's a difference. You can see there's a different energy with each photo shoot. And it's more in these experiences. I've just really seen that I've learned so much more about myself. And so this is one of my offerings that I create with people, and allowing themselves to be seen as we go on a journey and really dive in and uncover, like, okay, who are you? Who do you want to be? Aside from who you've been maybe pretending to be, and who is the authentic you? And then it's really discovering that person, and then taking that person on a photo shoot experience, allowing them to tap into that. And it's different. It's different for everyone. It's like, in March, I did a vulnerability shoot, and it was the first time. I haven't really shared these photos much yet. I'm still kind of I've been sitting with them, but it was a nude photo shoot, and it was raw. I had no makeup on. I really just wanted to show up as I was. And I had just gone through a breakup, and I was really dealing with a lot of just hurt and heartbroken and sadness around it. And I just felt a call. This was part of my tuning in to document it. And so I hired a local photographer in Dallas, who's a friend of mine, Leslie Boren, and I went to her house. So again, it was a safe space. It's like, where you talk about safe spaces. And so we create these safe spaces to allow yourself to be comfortable with being seen. And it was so raw, and she just captured my emotion. And I want to, part of that is, it's like I want to show people, and especially show women, that it's okay to, there's beauty in pain. There's beauty in being seen, in being vulnerable in that way and being raw. There's beauty in like uncovering, like taking off the mask. And I love makeup. I love making myself up, but there's also so much beauty in just allowing your face just as you are to be seen. And so, and that's really like the essence of my work, is taking people, whether it's through them doing a deep clarity session with me, booking a photo shoot experience, going on retreat with me, or doing, even I offer these girls' night inward parties where it's like we come together and I create, again, it's a safe space where you can show up and allow others to hold space for you to be seen and heard. And so it's really, it's been on my own journey that I've just uncovered these layers to where I've been able to really step into that and see that that's what's been missing in my life this whole time. And if that's what's been missing in my life, then maybe that's missing in other people's lives too.
Absolutely. And let me tell you all, I've been to one of Robin's Girls' Night Inward, and she does create a very safe space. We on this particular one, we were together virtually, and we were able to open up, and like she does, she draws out that authentic self. You feel safe to be open. And when she pulls a card for every person, it's just like the light bulbs go off. These women get such clarity around the card and the meaning of the card. See, I'm already tearing up about it. Because there's such meaning. The energy, spirit knows no bounds. Yeah. So no matter if you're doing this virtually, like we're here, this energy is carrying forward. We are intentionally carrying the energy of love forward and of being seen, allowing yourself to be seen and heard and understand and understood.
Yeah.
Because until we're ready to open up and show our authentic selves, forget about being understood. There's not even the possibility. You're not even giving the opportunity for the other person to understand you if you're not real, if you're not real with yourself and real with someone else.
And that's the beauty in these group sessions, is they're still virtual right now. It actually was born out of COVID. I was thinking like, oh, what's something? It was actually born out of my book club. We were together one night and somebody mentioned cards, and I was like, oh, I actually do oracle card readings. And so I was like, well, we could all get on a call sometime and I can pull cards for everyone. And then from that, it kind of was like, oh, light bulb moment. This is a really cool way to offer my gift to others in a safe and fun environment with your girlfriends. And what's cool is it's like people show up and they're like, I did one a couple weeks ago, and somebody said, this is by far the most interesting and quirky Zoom invite I've had since Corona hit. And because there's been a lot, like I've done happy hours and birthday parties over Zoom, and different people were talking about that. And they were like, this is like by far the most like unique and quirky. And I was like, I'll take it. I will take that feedback. Right. And, but it's cool because they show, like, women come and they show up and they're excited because they're with their group. And even like you were, you maybe didn't know everybody on the call. And I did one the other night for stranger. Like I didn't know anybody, and the host knew everybody, but nobody else knew each other. So it was really cool. And even in that space, by the end of it, it was like everybody knew each other, like on a different level. And one woman was, she started like, it's the cool thing about these group experiences is it's like, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to be vulnerable with people one-on-one. Right. But when you see one person step up, then it's almost giving you permission to say, oh, okay, then it's safe for me to do it too. And so I've noticed that it's like, I'll get the first person to be the guinea pig and like jump in, and they'll do the first reading, and then from there everybody's kind of like, oh, okay,
me next, you know, kind of thing.
Comfortable. And I'm really noticing like these sessions right now are so important, and with everything that's been going on in our world, in our country specifically over the past, I mean, it's definitely been going on like generationally for hundreds of years, but within the past few weeks, the conversation around race has really opened up in a new way that it hasn't in our, at least I would say in my lifetime. And I've noticed like being on these calls, I get on and there's white women, black women, women of color, and come together. And I start the session by going around and asking everybody to say a word or two about how they're feeling. And it's been, the words have been like empty, heavy, upset, angry, hopeful, inspired. And so it's just like noticing, overwhelmed and tired, and just like hearing everybody be able to just say what it is at the beginning. Like even just saying one or two words is a way of allowing yourself to be seen. And especially in a safe environment when you can speak up and really just come as you are. And what I've noticed with these experiences is it's really allowing everybody to just take off the glasses that they've been wearing, the foggy glasses, and just see human beings and just be there for one another and really just get what it is. And I'm really feeling like this call to have this be what brings races together, and allowing like especially white women and black women and come together and just be able to hold space for one another. And especially as white women, just be able to we will never be able to relate.
No.
But just be and hold space for our Black sisters. And it's really like, I feel so called right now to really step up and hold these spaces, because I'm really seeing that it's like, yeah, it's fun. It's great. It's people hop on there with their girlfriends. It's so great. And then it's also like real. Right. And really just being with people, and on these calls, people are seen, they're heard, they're validated. So yeah. And when I started it, again, I had no idea. I was like, yeah, this sounds fun. Let me do it with I'll pull everybody a card on a call and we'll see how it goes. And yeah, it's like, and that's
so much more.
Yeah. And that's where like you're
deeper than you expected, probably.
Totally. And that's what I'm noticing in my life. It's like I get these big, bold visions of things, and I often will stop myself because I get lost in the details. And I'm noticing that when I just listen, it's like I'll get a little nudge to do something. And if I just start, just try, then I'll tweak it as I go, and it's always evolving. But that's really, it's like being willing to show up. And I was on a call last week, and Dr. Erica Hines, she was on, and she said, be like humble. She was like, be humble and ready to fumble.
I love
and
that.
So it's like really show up, try, speak out, say something, and know that it's not going to be perfect. We will make mistakes. You will fumble. but then it's okay. You'll continue to fine tune that muscle, and that's part of being seen too. It's like we want to make everything look good and be perfect, and being seen is like, no, I'm human. I make mistakes. I say the wrong things sometimes.
Right. You almost fall off your chair when you're getting a Kleenex. Like,
right. Yeah.
It's just us. Here we are.
Normal. Yeah. It's like, no, let's take out all of the like, oh, everything's got to look good and be edited down. And I think that's what our society is wanting now. It's like, and more people are stepping up to that. It's like just trying. It's like, yeah, so what? I was on a call last week with Darla was having about podcasts, and she said, more and more people are doing these sessions and they don't have the best audio.
Yes.
That's okay. It's okay. Because it's raw. It's real.
I agree. I actually shy away from ones that are like too slick. Mm-hmm. When I when I listen to a podcast or I, watch a video, I don't know. I'm just like, blah, here I am. I'm real. And I want somebody else to be that real with me. Yeah. I don't want it to be so polished that it kind of, I don't know, that kind of turns me off, because I feel like if they have to be that perfect to present themselves, I'm not seeing the real them.
Yeah.
And I want to be real, and I want others to be real with me. So, I agree. I have a question. Would you be willing to pull an oracle card or 3 or whatever for today? Because let me tell you, folks, this energy, again, knows no bounds. This healing knows no bounds. So just because we're on Facebook Live or YouTube Live and Robin and I are 2 different places, we're about an hour and a half apart, because I'm north of Dallas, about an hour and a half. So, but all I'm saying is, no matter when you listen to this, these cards, the energy, the intention of these cards is for healing and for growth and for joy, and accept that. Just let it be, let that message of the cards settle into your spirit. So if you'd be willing to do that, I would greatly appreciate it, because
I would love to.
I love pulling cards.
Yeah, as you got up, let me get up and get.
Yeah, I should have warned you. I should have warned you that I was going to tell you this.
Well, I have multiple decks, but yes. I tune in the moment to see which one I want to pull from.
That's exactly what I do.
And I had this one by my bed last night because I pulled a card from it last night. But yeah, and I love that you talked about that with energy, because I even have I have apps on my phone, and I have I pull cards on my phone too, and I use these sometimes when I'm out and about and I don't have my physical cards with me, and it's energy. It's like you said, it's energy, and it's still gives you still hear what you need to hear in the moment.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So we can pull, I'll pull 3 different cards, and I'll just ask if you're watching live or catching the replay to right now, just everybody take a moment and just kind of ground yourself. And I like to place one hand on my heart and just take a deep breath and just really ground yourself in this space. And with your hand on your heart, just feel the beating of your heart and feel aliveness. That beating allows you to feel that I'm here. I'm a human being. I am alive. I am breathing. I am being breathed. And as you're tuning in and just holding, just continuing to take some deep breaths to ground yourself, I want you to select a number, 1, 2, or 3, and just hold that number in your mind, in your heart. And then I'm going to pull a card for each number. And whichever number you choose, that will be your message. And I also invite you to listen intently to the messages, all three of the messages that I read, and just hear something in them and see if you find something in it for yourself. And then when I read your number, really just tune in and allow yourself to receive the message with openness and love as it is guided and being guided to you. Okay, so go ahead and yeah, and I on my when I do these sessions on my Girls Night Inward, I actually will pull from different decks to see, like, I really do. I tune in the moment because each person is different, and I could sometimes I can pull from the same deck, or I'll notice a theme, or it's like everybody's getting cards from the same deck. But I still like to open it up to where, yeah, just allow it to really speak to the person in the moment. Okay, one more. Oh, actually, okay. Well, Spirit is actually saying 4 numbers, so tune in again real quick, check in, and I'll do 1, 2, 3, or 4. So if you had a hard time choosing 1, 2, or 3 before, perhaps 4 is your number. Okay. All right. So hold whichever number is there. All right. So if you're a number 1, the first card is, let me make sure I'm showing it right, Round and Round. And for this particular deck, it has 3 messages. There is an oracle message, a relationship message, and a prosperity message. Unless, yes, go on.
And
sorry.
what deck is this from?
Oh, yes, this is the Wisdom of Oracle.
Okay, yes, I have Colette Baron reads. Y'all, the oracle cards are really useful tools for you to, receive your intuition, receive messages. So they're not some kind of dangerous woo-woo. Your intention is to hear from source.
Yeah.
That's what you go with, and that's the energy you will receive. So this particular card deck, I have many card decks, but yeah. So
yeah,
just
said that because it's why I use these. These are a tool, and what I like about them is we're often in our heads so much, and meditation allows us to step out of get out of our heads. But I think with meditation, it takes practice to learn to receive. And so these are really great to allow you to tune in and tune out. That's what I like to say. And so kind of get away from the noise in your head and have a message show up. So
yeah, I like that.
Thank you for that. Okay. So the first card, if you got a number 1, is Round and Round. The essential meanings are the spiral quality of events when a lesson isn't quite integrated, cycles you are challenged to break, revisiting a pattern from a new perspective. The Oracle message. The appearance of this card is a reminder that although it may appear that you have gone backward, the truth is that you are standing at a higher level, looking down into your circumstances. You will learn something, do something better, and break a cycle set up in the past. You actually have a bird's eye view of your initial footprints and can access the wisdom and lessons learned. Relationship message. Are you wondering, how did I get here again? Does something feel unfamiliar right now in your dynamics with others? maybe a little too familiar, don't be surprised that you've found yourself repeating an old story with the same sort of person who may not look similar, but who attracted you because of your easy acquaintance with his or her qualities. Your relationship is a mix of what is good and what is potentially challenging. You have been drawn to this person through the perfection of Spirit's plan for evolution. You may have circled back to an accustomed spot, a familiar place, but that's fine. As you get to doing things again, only differently this time, for you learned something of great value since the last time around. How will you choose to behave now that you're aware? Remain curious and stay out of the blame game. And the prosperity message. If you're in a scenario that appears to be an echo of something that's already happened in the past in your work life, it is because you're being invited to see what you couldn't see before. This is a perfect time for you to look at the deeper motives you have and your attraction to the opportunities and people who have entered your life to be part of your journey to prosperity. Who helps you navigate? Who sabotages you? Who supports you? What are the familiar signs and your responses to them when you find yourself in a repeat of a pattern of the past? It's a good time to get a coach or a mentor who can help you see what you can't on your own. Repeat what works, not what doesn't. Then you will free yourself from old cycles and cease going round and round. This card is interesting. I've pulled this in the past specifically with relationships. It's like if you ever notice you may date one person and then you let go of that person and then you find somebody else and they look different, but then the patterns are the same. Mm-hmm. And same thing with friends or work situations. You may get out of one job only to go back into one that's very similar to the last, and it just creates this cycle round and round. So until you like make a choice and it's like, I'm going to make a choice, a conscious choice to break this and do things differently, that's when change will happen. But if you continue to just step into those experiences.
We develop those repeat patterns, again, because we're not allowing ourselves to move forward, to become the person that our inner being is calling us to be. So, we get in that cycle of that, which we can just as easily decide, no, we're going to get into the cycle of I'm going to be influenced by source, not be influenced by outside sources or whatever, so yeah, it's definitely, ooh, I like these. These are good.
Yeah. And even like speaking to like, that's the beauty of having a coach. Like we're both coaches and being a mentor to someone, because sometimes we really, just as these cards provide a different perspective that we may not have been seeing, having a coach or a mentor in your life provides that same experience where they're holding space for you and they're challenging you and asking you questions that allow you to dig deeper to find the answer that you weren't looking for, or maybe didn't know you were looking for.
Absolutely. And like what I told you on last month's with Manda, coaches hire coaches.
Yeah.
This isn't one and done.
No.
This is a journey. So Robin and I both hire coaches because we have places we want to go. We want to become our best, newest version of who we are, from all the asking and the desires that we have. And sometimes we have our little blind spots too that we have to get over. And it's a whole lot easier for us as coaches to see your blind spots because we're not living your life.
Right.
We see the effects of it and we listen very carefully to what you're saying. And but a lot of times, we're just blind to our own. It's so hard for us to see our own issues, and yet someone else can see them. And that's why we coach. That's why it's so important.
And even
coaches
own issues or own, like, it took me, so I signed up, we were in our year program together, and I just completed my portion at the end of May. And it was literally on our very last call, I finally got, I I finally see myself the way that others see me.
Yes.
And it literally, it's funny. Like I look back now, I'm like, oh, that's hilarious that it took me
An entire year.
An entire year going through a process, being with a coach, being in a container of support.
Yep.
To really be open to receiving that and seeing it. So,
and one other little thing about that, there's so many times, even like the intuitive calls, clearing sessions that she does, there's times when I've been on a clarity session or a strategy, something with a coach, and we'll have an hour and I'm thinking, okay, I start getting anxious and clicking my nails on the table, it feels like, because I'm going, okay, I didn't get it yet.
Yeah.
Invariably, it will come in the last minute of that call before we say goodbye. So the message is there. That's why we coach.
Yeah.
Because we hear that and the light bulb goes off and we go, okay, that's what I made this call for. That's what I hired this coach for.
Exactly. Yep. And yeah, it's so true.
It can be the last minute, folks. It can be the last minute.
You may slide under the radar, but,
right.
But that's the thing. It's like your coach is committed to holding space for you.
Yes.
And when you show up, you're also committing to yourself.
Yes.
To receive in that way too. So
that's huge, because that again sets that energy going forward. When you decide it's time, I'm done fighting this on my own. I've made some progress, but I'm still stuck. So it's time.
It's time.
And that decision creates an energy flow, and you'll start getting results when you make that decision. I can only say it from my personal experience. So I know it works. I know it happens. And I'm sure Robin does too. Okay, on to card number 2. Sorry, I got some.
No, it's perfect. So great. Okay, so this one is actually, whenever with this particular deck, if you pull a card upside down, then you get the protection message. So this is the mending card. And I'll turn it upright just so you can see it. Oops. Still getting used to the camera here. Okay. So mending.
And that's called reverse. In case somebody doesn't know, that's called reverse when you get a card upside down. So it's not a bad omen or something. Don't think of that. It just has a little tweak on the message.
Yeah. Yeah. The other day I was even pulling cards for a vision that I have, and I'm asking for more clarity around, and I got a couple protection messages. And at first I was like, oh, I'm not meant to do this. And then the protection was actually like, you need to let go of everything so that you can step up and do your vision. And I was like,
beliefs.
Okay. Yeah. Right, I got it. Okay. So this particular card, the essential meanings are forgiveness, making amends, healing after arguments. Heartbreak is a strange healer of souls. Our grief strips away our masks and loosens our tight hold on our separateness, where we view ourselves as I and the world as it. Loss allows us to see ourselves as part of a larger scheme, opening us up to sympathy, empathy, and dependence on others in the moment when we can't hold ourselves together. And it leads us to become one with the greater whole again. Pain and suffering is part of life, and none of us will be immune to it. Can you view this loss, this pain, this dissonance as a way back to source? Let your sorrow break your heart wide open. You will never be left behind. You are loved now more than ever by Spirit, who does not want you to feel alone. One day you will look back and know this truth. Yeah. So this message in particularly is, if you are going through some kind of loss in your life or grieving, and you can just feel this emptiness, and it's like your heart, like grief actually is a heart opener because it allows you to feel. And we may want to suppress those feelings, but when you give into it, it allows you in that space. And it's like grief is a call to come back to source, back to God, to Spirit, universe, whatever you call your higher power. And it really is. It's a way to come back. And when you have that connection and that relationship, that's your most important relationship.
Absolutely.
And oftentimes it's like, sometimes things are taken away from us so that we can step back into their relationship with source. So
absolutely.
Okay, so this one, if you're a number 3, it's no place like home. You can. Every time I pull this card, I think of Dorothy tapping her little red heels. No place like home. There's no place like home.
We should all have red slippers.
I know. I want some. I need some.
Red shoes. I know.
Maybe I'll do a Dorothy. That would be fun. I'll do a Wizard of Oz photo shoot.
There you go.
All right. The essential meanings of this card are authenticity, coming home to yourself, feeling at home, arriving at a place where you just fit, being comfortable in your own skin. Home feels safe and secure. It's a comfortable place to rest and create, a place that is known and you can call yours. This card signals that your ability to trust yourself and feel at home in your own skin is beginning to solidify as you claim your dignity and integrity, aspects of yourself no one can take away from you. You know who you are. You hold your head high, yet with neither pride nor humility. Instead, you stand as the observer, seeing through the eyes of the soul. This puts you in a position of power and strength. Authenticity is your home. You are safe here in the house of your spirit and spirit. The relationship message. Lovers, friends, and companion animals are at home in your life right now. You are in sync and full of love, and you can be secure in the relationship, in the knowledge that it is reciprocated. Relationships elicit a sense of emotional safety, comfort, and the best aspects of familiarity now. Be home in this relationship. Together, you add love to the world. And the prosperity message. When you act in an authentic way, you command the world to reflect back to you exactly what is in your highest good. Your business choices, the investments you make, and the creative projects you immerse yourself in are powerfully on point. Why? Because when you are fully yourself, radically accepting everything in your journey to date, both successes and failures, you will see the divinity in all things. Abundance is a natural progression when you experience this kind of authenticity. This card sums up our whole conversation.
Wow. Totally it. Being authentic, being that wholeness of you, blending spirit, mind, and body. I used to always say body, mind, and spirit, or body, mind, and spirit, or something like that. And I was in meditation, and one day Spirit says, excuse me, you have that backwards.
I remember. I was there for that.
Mind and body. It is not. You can't have mind and body without spirit.
Yeah.
That is our life force.
So true.
So when that light bulb went off, to be authentic, to let myself be the wholeness of who I am. I love it. The divinity in all things. I'm writing notes here as fast as I can, but
it's funny. I love this card because people often ask, what is home? Where is home for you? Yeah. And I'm a nomad. So I've been a nomad for 2 years, but really before that, I've never really had a sense of home in terms of a physical place. Right. And it's been on my journey of traveling that I've discovered that home is within me. Home is inside of me. So no matter where I am in the world, I can find home because I'm complete and in myself. I'm being authentic with myself, allowing myself to be seen and to feel. And so it really is, home is about finding it within yourself and being comfortable in your own skin and owning it, own who you are. We're all just beautiful beings. And I love
Guess what? We're not going to please everybody.
No.
We're going to annoy some folks and you just have to keep, it's sort of like, what I talked about in the beginning with our intention. Keep your side of the street clean. You can't worry about reactions of other people because then that influences you to shut down. Yeah. Don't do that. Look, just keep your side of the street clean.
I'm laughing.
Go ahead. What?
No, I'm just laughing because you said that at the beginning, and last night the card I pulled was clean it up.
Oh.
It specifically said own your side of the street and clean it up. Like clean your side of the street. Yep. You can't worry about the other person's, but you can worry about yours.
No,
I was laughing at the beginning of the call when you said that, and you saying it again. I'm like, yeah.
Yep. That's it. Okay, on to number 4.
All right. Well, this one's perfect because this was kind of a bonus card. So I feel like whoever selected 4, you really are in that world of like, oh, magic, and like, I'm different because you got Treasure Island.
Ooh.
Which is fun. It's like putting you in a different, I just kind of, I don't know. I had a feeling when the 4th card popped out, I was like, this is for those people who maybe they couldn't make a decision between 1, 2, or 3. And they were like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I can make a choice. And then it's like, guess what? You have another choice. There's a bonus.
Yep.
All right. So this card is about the law of attraction, bringing dreams into fruition, the result of positive thinking made manifest, abundance appearing as if from nowhere, financial gains, and the sharing of good fortune. The Oracle's message. You've worked hard and acted upon your unwavering belief in abundance, and suddenly, in the midst of it all, you hit the jackpot. You have uncovered the map to buried treasure and tapped the unlimited potential within you. What you must hone now is your ability to recognize when X marks the spot, because some of these golden opportunities may be obvious, but others may not be so readily apparent. Trust your intuition to light your way now as you enter this truly prosperous phase where all the long, hard work navigating your inner life is now paying off externally. In all aspects of your life at this time, you have good fortune. Don't forget to enjoy it and share it with others, as treasure shared multiplies like magic. The relationship message. Your relationship is a treasure, providing even more than you need, but you may not see that right now. No matter how long you've been together, you and your partner are always discovering hidden gems about yourselves and each other. Now is the time of discovery. It's as if everything is in sync and everything is new again. Romance blooms and love is in the air. You can be assured that this partnership will bring you great gifts and valuable lessons. Keep your heart open. The message of this card is to celebrate love and what it teaches you. Prosperity message. At this time, you can be confident that success is yours. Your ideas are all hitting the mark, and you're in true manifestation period when you will see evidence of the seeds of prosperity you planted in the past. The appearance of this card in a reading indicates that your dreams and aspirations align with concrete signs of prosperity in the world of form. This is a very auspicious and fortunate time for business. Creative projects will flourish as inspiration strikes. Share your wealth with others too. Generosity and gratitude shall lead you now. Oh. Yeah, that one, I love this card because, again, it's about authenticity and all of the inner work. It's like when you allow yourself to really tune in, listen to understand, even with ourselves, you're open to receiving. And when you're open to receiving those messages and those downloads, like you said, where some days your pen's moving and you're just writing and it's just downloads from spirit. And when you're in that space, that's really when your creative projects and your inspirations and ideas, and when your heart is just really open and life just opens up. Mm-hmm. And in order to be in that space, we have to allow ourselves to take time to tune in and tune out.
It's like I've always told my audience, my queens, it's you've got to quiet your mind enough, because Source does not scream.
No.
Source's messages are little tiny, just a message, just a feeling, just a gut, sometimes it is so subtle. And if you're blah, 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 or listening to blah, 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 guess what's going to get drowned out? Your message from your inner being. Your intuition is going to get drowned out if you cannot shut it down.
Yeah.
So it's just really important for us to find that quiet time, set it aside. I mean, when I go into meditation, I meditate first and then I write because I want to hear, and then I listen and write. And when I go into meditation, it's like, oh boy, this is the time for me and me.
Yeah.
You know, like Robin was talking about the relationships. This is your most important relationship, because the relationship with you and you is the basis of every other relationship. If it's not good, ain't nothing gonna be good.
No.
So this is our priority.
Yeah.
And this relationship always feels good because our inner beings always feel good. They're not judging us from the past. They don't even look to the past. They're always looking now and forward. Where are we going to be and where are we going? Because we're on a path, you know. So
yeah, and it's even like asking for signs and see what shows up. Like, I'm very connected with numbers and nature. Mm-hmm. And so I'll often see the same time over and over, like multiple days in a row, or I'll see numbers in different places, or I'll see, like last year, a bee was my symbol, and I kept seeing bees everywhere. And lately I've been seeing frogs, and it's just like, it's so interesting. And then you can actually Google, like, if you notice like animals a lot, you can Google like whatever the animal is in spirit totem, you know, it'll come back with the meaning about the animal. But pay attention, pay attention to signs. And that's part of that is when we're in our busy mind all the time, or cluttering it and just like on the move all the time, we're not really tuning in to that awareness. It's like, I saw Regine popped into the comments, shut it down and find that quiet time. And it's the same thing. If you're out walking or you're driving in your car, just be open. Just be open to receive and see what shows up.
Right. Oh my goodness. I have fallen down. I've been so involved in this conversation. I haven't even paid attention that everybody's here. I'm sorry, y'all. Once again, this is live.
We're having coffee with you. We're just a little
we're just a little involved here. You were talking about the spirits, the animal. This is whoops.
I love that deck.
Okay, this is Colette Baron Reed's Spirit Animal Oracles.
Yeah.
And so I use these a ton because I'm very animal oriented. The other one that I would suggest, if you ever, Ted Andrews and Spirit, Animal Speak.
Oh,
Animal Speak is a really good book. Just find it on Amazon. He's got a couple different ones, but I have his original Animal Speak one. Oh my gosh, it is so good. So, you know, there's ways to find that, because I do see a lot of animals, like in my visioning, or not too long ago, we live out in the country. And so there was a skunk that was killed at the end of our driveway, kind of towards the end of our driveway in the road. And, you know, usually I pick up on messages like that. Mm-hmm. You know, what is that animal telling me?
Yeah.
And no, I didn't hear the first message. So the next night I was sitting on the front porch. It was dark, but it was kind of that full moon because it was kind of bright. And a skunk goes walking across the porch in front of me. And I'm going, okay, just sit still, just sit still. But I was supposed to hear the skunk message the first time and didn't get it. So Spirit just kind of sent a little bit stronger.
That's what I was going to say when you were saying that. It's like Spirit and is going to say things to you, but we have to be willing to receive. Yep. And when we're not willing to receive, that's when, like, I'm telling you, okay, this card, bring it into form. I have now pulled this card. I've lost count. I'm up to at least 5 in the last 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
I sit down with this deck. This is another one of my favorite decks. It's the Sacred Rebels.
Yes, I have that deck too.
And it's like, I feel it's like, okay, Robin, it's almost like shaking me. Like, hello, are you going to get it? Just do it. Just do the thing.
Yeah.
And so I
Exactly.
can't ignore it anymore. It's like, okay, just show up and do my work and my project.
Absolutely. If you don't think spirit has a sense of humor,
Yeah.
you don't know spirit, because there are times, even when I'm writing in my journal, that spirit will say, my spirit guides will say a statement and it's funny or something. And then they'll go, ha.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
going, okay. Then I
Right.
write it out. So anyway, it's spirit definitely has a sense of humor. And I love that. I love that. So let's see what else we need to do. Okay,
Well,
I
thank you for everyone who's been with us this
I
time.
know we're already an hour and 20 minutes. I'm sorry, guys, but this is just too good. So just a little bit longer. I do want to tell you how to get, let me go up here and see if I can. Okay, you can find Robin on Facebook and Instagram at Wandering Ant. And then oh, and by the way, go to her Instagram page. Is your IGTV still up with your conversation? Go
go to Regine. It's on Regine's. Actually, I'll post it to mine. I need to post it to mine and share it. But yeah.
Okay. Well, if you get it posted to yours, then go over and look at this conversation that she had with Regine.
She's on, I think. I love it.
I know she was on. I saw her.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the wrong one. Where's my?
And I'll drop the link in the comments too, and I'll also take a picture of the cards that I pulled and drop that in.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So, and this is Robin Finney, wanderingant.com. Now, tell us just real shortly. People can have a clarity session with you, an intuitive clarity session.
Yep.
That's on your site, and you have a special on that, don't you, or something?
I do. Right now, I'm doing a special of $150.
Okay, so we got that. These girls' night inward. Get your girlfriends together and do this. It's fun, but it's really meaningful. So, and how many people do you like to have in those groups?
So I've tested it. I've been testing it, and I'm finding 4 to 10 is a good number.
Okay. So if you've got 4 to 10 girlfriends, it's like one price for the whole evening, right?
Yeah. And then you can.
So whoever comes and share it.
Yeah. So it's like a host, like somebody chooses to be a host, and then the host, you go and gather your friends, and then you work out however you want to do it. I've had some hosts that are just like, I'm going to host the evening and pay for it for my group. And I've had others that they just work it out, I think, and they split it up on their end.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and men too. Like I call it girls' night inward, but men can do it as well. I have male clients. So if you're interested and you're like, oh, that sounds fun. I would actually love, if there are men listening, I would actually love to do a men's circle. So yeah, that would be fun. But even if you're having a girls' night inward and you want to invite a guy, then thank you. Regine dropped in the link to our Instagram.
Hey, thank you, Regine.
Yeah, we did an Authentic Conversations last Thursday, and it was really great. We talked about clarity, purpose, action, and Regine is an author, and we shared her story, and so it's super rich conversation. So listen to that. And then I'm also doing my next one on Thursday night, and this time I'll be doing it on Facebook Live with another author. Her name's Sophia Robinson. She's from Barbados, and so I'll be talking to her as well. So
awesome. Make sure y'all go to these conversations. Go watch them. I watched the first one that she had with Regine. Very good. Just excellent. So, make these available. They're available. Make yourself available for spirit to speak through you with these. So it's really important for us to be seen, heard, and validate each other. It is a core desire of all of us. And of course, our spirit is always seeing, hearing, and validating us. But it's definitely a human thing that we also want to look to others.
Yeah.
People can be fickle, so it's sometimes hard to get from people. So know that your source is always there. Know that is it's there. So let's see. I let me just make an announcement too. So Robin, they can just go to your website, right, and find how to do the clarity session.
If you just go to wanderingant.com and click on services, and then go to intuitive sessions, you'll see both the deep clarity session and the girls' night inward.
Perfect.
You can also just send me a message one off.
Right. Yeah, send her a message if you just want to visit with her. She probably has some strategy sessions too if you're considering coaching with her. So I want to thank you, Robin, for coming. We're going to go into an announcement here real quick, and then we'll close it out.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, let me put my glasses on because I got to remember what the dates are for next month. Okay, so next month's Coffee and Convo Live will be July 12th at 10 a.m., of course, here on Facebook, Central. 10 a.m. Central. And our guest is going to actually be Dr. Davia Shepherd. And you will recognize her because she shared her happiness prescription. She is a chiropractor and a holistic coach for living your optimal life. But this time I invited Davia on because I wanted her, as a Black woman raising Black children and what their world is going to look like, because she has concerns. I mean, she's a mother. She's, she wants her children to have the very best world to grow up in. And, she says, I face racism every day, but, and so what we're going to talk about is something that some of the things that she would love to see is the improvements. Where can we improve? Who can we be to create these improvements? Because it's always, always about who we're being. Because our action can never be from a point of the problem, focusing on the problem. We have to focus on the solution. Because it's like Einstein said, you cannot get to the solution with the same thinking that the problem was created in. So we have to be aware there's a problem. But then move to the side of the solution. Move from that. Don't keep feeling bad. Move to where the energy is high, because that is the life of the solution, that vibration. And something my spirit guide said the other day, they were teaching me about vibration, and they were talking about high vibrations and love and joy and appreciation, all that. It goes around the world so much faster.
Yeah.
And low vibrations. So let's outrun them. Let's outrun the slow vibrations with our high vibrations. So anyway, so join us next month. It's gonna
I'm gonna put in just a personal plug.
Okay.
Dr. Davia is one of my favorite people on this planet. And she was also in our coaching group. And I consider her like a sister to me. And she is just like, just being in her presence she's the queen of fun. So it will be fun, and she will have a lot of like insight and intuitive guidance for us all. Like even an aunt, I'm going to tune in because this conversation is important for me with my littles too, and how I show up.
Right. Yeah. This is, Davia is just so precious, and we are going to have fun because she is the chief happiness officer of Ladies Power Lunch. And anyway, so we're going to get back with that. But come July 12th, this is only once a month, which I would, if anybody's interested, and we just start having it more frequently, just throw it out there for me. Suggest that. Let me see what y'all feel like doing. But because I'm happy to have more guests on. I'm happy to do it every other week or something. But so July 12th at 10 a.m. here on Facebook at Marianne Pack Coaching. And I'm hoping it is turning out well on YouTube today, because that was our first trial. So
yay!
Big day, y'all.
Big day.
So, is there anything else you would like to say in closing?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for providing this space and just allowing time for us to come together and hold space for everyone, whether all of the beautiful souls who are on. I saw Amanda, Sarah, Regine, and then all of you who are catching the replay. Thank you so much. And thank you, Marianne, for being a light in this world.
Absolutely. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, my beautiful queens. I love you, and go make this a joyous day. We love you. We'll see you next time.